My name is David. I'm 19 years old. On New Year's Eve 2020, I came home to my dorm room and found a stranger sitting on my bed. I should have died that night. I was a freshman at Reed College in Portland. Most students had left campus for winter break. The dorms were half empty. My parents were dealing with COVID stuff back home, so I'd stayed. I'd been at a small party on the 3rd floor that night. Nothing big. Just enough drinking to be tired and stupid about checking my door properly. I came back around midnight to my room on the 4th floor. The hallway was empty. The whole dorm felt empty. That's when I smelled it. Stale. Like someone had been living in that small room for days. Wrong. Lived in. I opened my door and stopped. She was sitting on my bed. She was a woman in her 40s, maybe older, wearing torn blue nurse scrubs, the fabric ripped at the shoulder. A hospital ID band was still on her wrist. Her feet were bare and dirty. Her hair was wet, matted, dripping. But what got me was her smile, like she'd been waiting for me all day. "You're home early," she said. "I wasn't expecting you until after midnight." My brain went static. I couldn't process what I was seeing. I asked who she was. She just smiled and said, "It's me. I've been waiting for you all day." The way she said it, familiar, like we had a history. "You need to leave," I said. "This is my dorm room." She stood up slowly. That's when I saw my desk drawers were all open, my photos scattered across the mattress, my notebook. She'd been going through everything. "Your room?" She laughed, hollow, confused. "David, this is our room. You know that." She knew my name. She said it like she'd said it 1,000 times before. "How do you know my name?" "Because I know you," she said, stepping toward me. "I've always known you." I stepped back. She kept coming. "What do you want?" "I want you to stop pretending. I want you to come home. I've been waiting so long." Her eyes weren't right. Too intense, like she was seeing someone else entirely. I backed deeper into the hallway. "You need help." "I don't need help," she said. "But you need to eat something. You must be hungry." That's when I noticed it. On my desk, a cup of tea, steam still rising from it, a plate of cookies. She'd made me food. "I made your favorite," she said. "You told me you liked tea. You told me lots of things. I've never met you before in my life." "Stop saying that," she said, her voice cracking. "You promised. You said you loved me. You promised you wouldn't leave me again." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do," she screamed. It echoed down the hallway. She lunged forward and grabbed my arm. Her fingernails drove into my skin. I felt them break through and hit blood. "You don't get to leave," she said, her face inches from mine. "Not again." I jerked my arm up hard and she stumbled backward, hitting the wall frame, but she didn't stay down. She came at me again, and that's when I saw it. A knife, not big, a kitchen knife. But it was in her hand, and she knew how to hold it. "I've done this before," she said quietly. Her voice was different now, calm, clinical, like she was reciting something. "I know how to make it hurt. I know how to make it last." She moved toward me with the knife, not frantically, deliberately, like she'd practiced this, like she'd done it before. I backed into my room. She followed, closing the door behind her. "Why are you doing this?" I said. "Because you belong to me," she said. "You promised me, and I don't let go of what's mine." She moved closer, calm, patient, like we had all night. She slashed at me. The knife caught my shoulder, tore through my shirt, and I felt the bite of it, sharp, hot. Blood ran down my arm. I grabbed the desk chair and threw it at her. She dodged it easily, too easily, like she'd expected it, and came at me again. This time the knife found my ribs, not deep, but deep enough. I felt it go in, felt the twist as she turned it slightly, felt her pull it out. The pain was immediate and total. I couldn't breathe. I looked down and saw blood soaking through my shirt. "You see?" she said. "You see what happens when you try to leave me?" She came at me again and I ran, toward the door. She grabbed my hair and pulled me backward. I crashed into the wall. Stars exploded in my vision. Her teeth found my neck and she bit down, not like a person bites, like an animal, like she was trying to tear flesh, like she was trying to taste me. I screamed and drove my elbow backward into her face. I felt her nose break under the impact, felt bone crack, felt blood spray hot on my back. "You're mine," she kept saying, even as she bit harder. "You're mine. You're mine. You're mine." She had the knife again. I could feel it against my side, pressing, looking for an opening, looking for somewhere vital. I broke free and ran for the door. My hand was slick with blood, mine or hers, I didn't know. She was right behind me, humming that same lullaby like we were dancing. Down the hallway, she grabbed my shirt, but I tore away from her, leaving fabric in her hands. I hit the stairs and fell more than ran down them. Each step was agony. My ribs screamed. My neck was on fire. Behind me, I could hear her laughing. I hit the ground floor and screamed for help. The RA heard me, saw the blood, called 911 immediately. Campus security was already coming up the stairs when I collapsed in the lobby. When police found her in my room, she was sitting on my bed. Calm. The knife was on the mattress next to her. Her nose was broken, blood all over her face. She was still, humming. She didn't resist, didn't fight, just looked at the officers and said, "He promised me. He said he'd never leave. He lied." The hospital said the knife wound to my ribs missed my liver by half an inch. The doctor said if I'd been any slower getting to the ER, if the ambulance had been 5 minutes later, I would have bled out in that hallway. She was a psychiatric patient, Margaret, escaped from Cascadia Hospital 2 days before. Been there 3 years for erotomania, a delusional disorder where someone becomes convinced someone is in love with them. But the detective told me something else that kept me up at night. She'd done this before. Different cities, different men, different hospitals, different escapes. There were files, cases, cold cases in 3 states where men had gone missing after being approached by a woman in nurse scrubs. Never found. Campus police found her notebook, dozens of pages, filled with names, not just mine, dozens of them. David, James, Michael, Robert, Christopher, all with dates, all with notes about where they lived, when they were home, what they liked to eat, their schedules, their vulnerabilities. She had a system, a methodology. This wasn't random. This wasn't just one delusional woman. This was predatory calculation wrapped in mental illness. She'd studied me for months, knew my schedule better than I did, knew when I went to class, when I worked, when I was alone. Stolen psychiatric meds from Cascadia before she escaped. Valium, Ambien, sedatives, things that would have made me docile, compliant, easy to transport. The tea wasn't just tea. The cookies weren't just cookies. She was going to drug me, then take me. The detective found her van parked 3 blocks from campus. Inside, plastic sheeting, rope, more of the stolen meds, a mattress in the back, and photographs, dozens of photographs of me from months before. Sleeping in my dorm room through the window, eating in the dining hall, walking across campus. Some of the photos were taken from inside the dorm, through my window, through my door. She'd been inside my room before that night, many times. The detective showed me the photos, and I realized I'd been asleep while she watched me. She'd stood over my bed, studied me, planned this, and I never knew. She was going to drug me, then take me. The detective said she had a van parked off campus, said she'd done it before, said the bodies they'd found in other states might have been hers, might have been. I have a scar on my ribs now, 2 inches long. It aches when it gets cold, when it rains, when I'm stressed. I have bite marks on my neck that took months to fade. I transferred schools, couldn't go back to read, couldn't sleep in dorms. I live alone now, in my own apartment, with 3 locks on the door. I check them before bed. I check them in the middle of the night when I can't sleep, which is most nights. I haven't been in a relationship since. Can't trust anyone close enough to touch my neck. Margaret is still in the hospital, still medicated, still asks about me, apparently, still writes my name in notebooks, still convinced I promised her something I never did. The detective sends me updates, says she's stable now, says she's not getting out, but he also says erotomania doesn't go away, that the medication just stops her from acting on it, that somewhere in her broken mind, she still believes I belong to her.